Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom, family. Welcome to ISO Wisdom. I'm your host, Brother Sai. And today we're going over the Enoch animal parable. We're going over the answers. This is some crazy stuff here. Anyone who's read through Enoch, they've come to this parable. And at some point, they might have found this very, very confusing. So we put together a challenge. We had the PDF uploaded. There's a couple of points in the PDF that I saw as I was going through this again. And there will be some additions that are made. So bear with us as we go through this. This is probably going to be a three-parter because there's a lot to cover as we go through this. First and foremost, all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And then something else to know for this parable, this is talking about people. People and nations. All of the animals here is someone significant in the story of Israel or in the story of humanity here in the scriptures. So it's a great opportunity to take a chance to test your biblical trivia, test your biblical knowledge, see if you understand the events. It's really cool. It's like a puzzle. So here we are. We'll wait for some more people to get in, then we'll pray, and then we'll get right to it. How many of you guys had a difficult time with this? Did you feel like the answers were pretty obvious, or did this seem like really challenging? Shalom, shalom. Shalom, sweetheart. And I know in the last video for the tutorial, we definitely gave some hints. So this is going to be a very interactive study. So if you got answers, if you got questions, shoot it. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. This first chunk, I forgot how difficult it was because for one, I forgot how not everybody reads the book of Enoch. Not everyone has read the book of Enoch, Joshua Jubilees. Oh, sweet. What's up, Rainisha? What up? What up? All right, let's pray, and then we'll hop right in, family. Father Yah, the water for this time, the water for everything you've done for us. Father, thank you for another prep day as we begin to enter into your rest. Father, I ask that everyone who's here, or even not here, that you just bless them, Father, edify them, draw them closer to you, draw all of us closer to you, Father. Father, I pray that this study is fun, interactive, exciting, and edifying. Thank you for this this parable, this vision, which is an opportunity for us to exercise our knowledge and then see what we know and see what we need to brush up on. Father, I pray again that this is edifying, and Father, may you be glorified in all that we do. Thank you so much once more for all these things in the name of Yahweh Shai. Amen. All right, family. I think we should just hop right into it, yeah? So, maybe I should pull it up again. But, no. I know what I'll do. Because there was definitely a spot that I needed to add to. When it gets to that part, I'll definitely do make some changes. All right. So, what I have, if you have your sheet, I don't know if you printed it or not, whatever format you want. We're going to go through this. Okay. Enoch, chapter 85, if you're in the Sefer. I think it's 84 elsewhere. It says, "After this I saw another dream and explained it all to my son. Enoch arose and said to his son Methuselah, 'To you, my son, will I speak.' Hear my word and incline your ear to the visionary dream of your father. Before I married your mother Edna, I saw a vision on my bed. All right, here's the vision. And behold, a cow sprung forth from the earth, and this cow was white. Afterwards, a female calf sprung forth, and with it two other calves. There's a spelling error there. That should be TWO. The one was black, and the one was red. The black calf then struck the red one and pursued it over the earth. From that period, I could see nothing more of the red calf, but the black one increased in bulk, and a female heifer came with him. After this, I saw that many cattle proceeded forth resembling him and following after him. Okay, so hearing this should remind us of someone, especially the cow sprung forth from the earth. Who is this? What is this? What is happening? For those of you that tuned in before, you know that you got some tips here. And then I'm going to add another capture here. Oops, excuse me, family. And we're going to go to, where is it? Pages. Cool. We'll do it like that. Okay, so the white cow. Let's just give you the answers. Yeah, you want to do it like that? Sound off in the chat if you think you know. White cow. Adam. So if that white cow is Adam, who's the female calf? Eve. Remember, when we were filling this, when you're doing this for homework, I want you guys to go naturally as best you can. Just work focusing on the characters. There you go. There you go. Natasha's got it. And then worry about book, chapter, verse, because what we're doing is filling this out, and then we can find the book, chapter, verse, or the first reference of these people. And you might have different ones. So obviously the first time that Adam is mentioned is in Genesis 1:27, when it says that Yah created man. But we can also see, we can put somewhere in Genesis 2 where it names him or specifically talks about that. So whichever precept you feel like is best for these characters, that's up to you. This is your chart. But the essence or the notion of the person is most important. Because sometimes, as we like break some of this stuff down, it's going to get complicated. Okay, so then we have two black calves that came from Eve. Who would that be? But in order to answer that, we have to get the details, right? We have to see what happened between them. So let's look at this. The black calf then struck the red one and pursued it over the earth. Okay. The black one killed the red one. So that would make the black one, bringing that back up. And give me 1 second. Let's pull this over here. Oops. The black one's Cain. Yeah, exactly. Cain and Abel. The red one is Abel because he's the one that got smited. And then the second female heifer that went with the black one, that one was a tough dig. You're going to find that answer. Well, let's put these precepts really quick. I'm not going to focus too much on the precepts or the book chapter. No, I don't want to call them precepts. The references. I don't want to get too caught up in that. But Genesis 4:1 is the first time we see Cain. And then I think 4:2 or 1 for Abel. Let me check. 4:2 is Abel. Exactly. So then the one that went with Cain would be Cain's wife. And if you haven't taken a dive into the other books like Jubilees, Cain's wife is certainly an acceptable answer. because then you can put for Cain's wife, Genesis chapter 4, verse 17. But if you really want to dig in, you're going to go to Jubilees chapter 4 for Cain's wife. Her name is Awan. It's Jubilees chapter 4. I'm looking for it real quick. I just had it last time. Let's see. I think Morgan had it. Oh, she just put Jubilees 4. Jubilees 4:9. Jubilees 4:9. Let's pull that up. Jubilees is an interesting read. A little more details, for sure. And Cain took Awan, his sister, to be his woman, and she bore him Enoch. So that's why Enoch, that we're reading the book Enoch, is taught the seventh from Adam. That's a distinction because Cain had Cain's firstborn. His name was also Enoch. So whenever you hear the seventh from Adam, that's talking about the seventh generation. And then the other Enoch, which isn't too talked about, honestly, in the Bible very much. That's Cain's son. Awan, and I put, oops, I'm getting sloppy today, guys. You guys have to forgive me. I'm sorry. Jubilees 4:9 for Awan. And then many cattle after the black calf. Those are just Cainites, descendants of Cain. You read about the Cainites and his lineage after, he begat. Cain's lineage is in Genesis chapter 4, the rest of Genesis 4. Okay? Let's see, Genesis 4, 17 till pretty much 24 if you want to. Because that's going to cover even, what's his name, Tubal-Cain or Lamech. All right, let's go back to Enoch. We doing all right so far? It gets crazier, right? Evil Enoch. Double E squared. Shalom, shalom. Okay, so we're back in Enoch. And I have, one second. I'm gonna get rid of some stuff I have that's in my way. What the heck? Okay. Back to Enoch. Enoch chapter 84. 85. 84 for most of you. So the black calf, verse 5, the black calf then struck the red one and pursued it over the earth. From that period I can see nothing more of the red calf, but the black one increased in bulk, and a female heifer came with him. So that's Awan, the wife, and he increased in bulk. He got stronger. Okay, so the first female young one also went out of the presence of the first cow. So now it's just telling you, we don't have to fill anything in, but it's telling you what's going on. So Eve left the presence of Adam and sought after the red calf, which is Abel, and found him not. And she lamented with a great lamentation while seeking him. Then I looked until the first cow came to her, first cow being Adam. from which time she became silent and ceased to lament. Afterwards, she calved another white cow. Okay, who's the another white cow? Genesis chapter 4, verse 25. What you guys got there? Mm-hmm. Beautiful. We got Seth. Exactly. Genesis chapter 4, verse 25. That's Seth there. $sign. The struggle bus is crazy today. Oops. Genesis 4:25. Awesome. All right, we're back at it over here. I'm just going to move this over. Okay. Afterwards, she calved another white cow, and again calved many cows and black heifers. So, the many cows and black heifers, those are just Adamites. Because that came from Eve, Adam and Eve. Remember, Adam and Eve had other kids, right? Jubilees talks about that one too. Jubilees 4. She bore him a son, calls his name Seth. Seth took Azura. There's more scripture to show that there was more than just those guys. In the first city. Okay. Shalom, shalom. It's all good. You can be here for the answers. Natasha said she's going to slow up. No, it's all good. If no, honestly, this is a little tough. So you might be one of the few people who have the answers, and that's okay. I wanted to find it in Jubilees where it talks about the other Adamites. I know it's there. I remember reading it. I haven't read Jubilees in quite some time. Do you guys remember where it talks about the other siblings, the other kids of Adam and Eve? I cannot find it right now. Let's see. It says Jubilees 8, but that doesn't make sense. No. Okay. We'll come back to that. Because now I'm getting stuck on the thing I told you guys not to get stuck on. We know this is the answer. Okay. Now this one, the white bull. The white bull is weird. Because for me, I had a hard time actually making... I'll read it. And it was kind of difficult to see it. It says, in my sleep also I perceived a white bull, which in like manner grew and became a large white bull. After him many white cows came forth resembling him. And they began to calve many white cows which resembled them and followed each other. And they began to calve many white cows, which resembled them and followed each other. So the white bull is either Seth or Enos. Now I want to go to Genesis to show this. Genesis chapter 4, right at the bottom. Genesis 4, verse 25, it says, And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For Elohim, she said, hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Let's click on that. Enos, or Enosh. Then began men to call upon the name of Yahweh. So that's why I would put either Seth, I would put Seth in that Seth became bigger. He was increased since he's the instead of Abel. So the Adamic line, the righteous line, continued on. Now, I'm trying to be careful when I say the righteous lineage of Seth, because those that know, when people hear this term, they automatically jump, and like there's a lot of implications behind those terms. There's a lot of esoteric groups that speak like that, so I just try to be careful with that language. Even Mormons, everybody wants to be like the righteous line of Seth. Even that lingo or that language is what a lot of people use to contradict the existence of the watchers or the fallen angels. They'll say that it wasn't angels that came down and made it with the women, that instead it was the righteous lineage of Seth that was mating with the Cainite, not Canaanite, Cainite women and produced mighty men. So, when it says call upon Yahweh, was that because they were being eaten? Wow, that's a great question. Now that I'm thinking about it, that could potentially be it, or that they recognized Yahweh. But that's actually a great point. Now I want to look. So Jubilees chapter 4, let's see, goes right from that goes right from Seth right into the Nephilim. The children of men began to multiply, and the daughters were born unto them. No, actually. No, it's not. They began to call on the name of Yahweh because of their relationship with him growing. And that's another reason why I would either call this white bull Seth or Enos. Either way, the lineage is Sethite. So I'm gonna put Enos. Many white cows after the white bull are Sethites. Many white cows after, let's see, 514. Exactly. And then we have even more Sethites here. Does that make sense? They're increasing. Pretty much humanity is increasing. Exactly. Humanity is increasing very much. All right. So let's just overview here. The white cow is Adam. The female calf is Eve. The black calf is Cain. The red calf is Abel, because the black calf killed the red calf. And then the black calf took a second female heifer, which is his sister, Awan. The black calf had many cattle coming out from him. Those are Cainites. Please make a difference between Cainite and Canaanite. Canaanites come way later. These are the descendants of Cain. Just for a review, let's just read something really quick, because I want to make something maybe not painfully clear, but pretty obvious. Y'all know what I'm about to do. Let's just do this. And Adam knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain. Okay? Cain came from Adam and said, I have gotten a man from Yahweh. There it is. Right. Adam biblically knew his wife. From that interaction, she conceived and bare Cain. That's it. It's very simple. Nothing more, nothing less. Miss Winnie, I like what you said. What if it's like the scripture that says the word of Yah was precious at that time? Is that in Enoch? Is that in the beginning? What if Yah wasn't as close anymore, so they had to start calling on him? And two, I think also, I feel like I know what you're making reference to. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just a little slower today. But I'm also thinking about how, Seth was the instead of Abel, and his lineage was calling on Yah. I don't think the Cainites were doing that. They were off doing their own thing. Again, you see Cain's line, because some people say, well, why? How come Cain's lineage isn't listed in Genesis 5? Very simple, family. Why would your brother or your sister be listed in your lineage? Absolutely no. No serpent seed. No. These are humans. Everybody's human here. Cain's not listed in Genesis 5 simply because this is the lineage through Seth. Seth had a son. If you have a son, would you put them in your lineage? I'm sorry. Yes, you have a son, you put them in your lineage. You don't put your brother in your lineage. These are all the descendants from Seth, and then the next son, and then the next son. Yeah. Meanwhile, Cain had his lineage over here. Came from Adam. What is already stated doesn't need to be restated. Adam knew his wife. She conceived and bare Cain. That's it. Okay, cool. Moving on with the chart, because this is where, like, that was as easy as this week's assignment got, and I'm sorry for that. I felt really bad when I was going back over this, and I'm like, oh, crud. This is that deep. All right, we're going back to Enoch. Now we're in the next chapter, so 85 if you're in the Sefer. I'm sorry, 86 in the Sefer, and then we're in 85 if you're in another book. All right. Again, I looked attentively while sleeping and surveyed heaven above, and behold, a single star fell from heaven, which being raised up ate and fed among those cows. After that I perceived other large black cows, and behold, all of them changed their stalls and pastures, while their young began to lament one with another. Again I looked in my vision, and surveyed heaven. Then behold, I saw many stars which descended and projected themselves from heaven to where was the first star. I'm going to read it, and then we're going to go over it. Into the midst of those young ones, while the cows were with them, feeding in the midst of them. I looked at and observed them, when behold, they all acted after the manner of horses, and began to approach the young cows, all of whom became pregnant, and brought forth elephants, camels, and asses. At these all the cows were alarmed and terrified, when they began biting with their teeth, swallowing and striking with their horns. They began also to devour the cows. And behold, all the children of the earth trembled, shook with terror, and then at them, and suddenly fled away. All right, family. Who's the first star? Who is the first star? What is the first star? Natasha says watchers. You guys have any idea what's going on here? Let's go to Enoch chapter 7. When he says, a little confused because it's been mentioned in Bible studies a few times that Cain was the seed of the serpent. I understand your confusion. I do not believe that whatsoever. And when I drop a couple of bombs in the next few studies, it's going to be very, very, very painfully obvious that serpent seed doctrine is false. Shemyaza. That is a great guess. Let's put Shemyaza on the side as one of the guesses. That's a great guess, especially when we read Enoch chapter 7. It says, it happened after the sons of men had multiplied in those days, the daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful. Now this matches up very well with Genesis chapter 6, right? Rainish says the head angel, I can't remember his name. Okay. Ooh, Rahman says Yahawashai. Miss Winnie says the water. Angels. Yes, okay. So it's angels. Yes, give you guys the answer. It is certainly an angel. Not Yahawashai. He comes way later. You won't see brother Yahawashai till I think the third part of this. Okay. Now it's about which angel. So check this out. When the watchers, verse 2, the sons of heaven beheld them, they became enamored of them. This is the beautiful women, saying to each other, come, let us select for ourselves women from the progeny of men, and let us beget children. Then their leader, Shemyaza, said unto them. Now that's why it's such a great guess. Shemyaza, right? I fear that you may perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise. He's like, you guys are going to wimp out. Like, I want to go get me some women. Miss Winnie, Azazel, that's another great guess. Shemyaza or Azazel. We'll focus on those two, and then we'll lock in on which one it is. Shemyaza's like, you guys, I want to go get some women, but I feel like you guys are going to back off and leave me out here to do this by myself. Again, verse 4 right here. And that I alone shall suffer for so grievous a crime. So he don't want to do wrong by himself. But they answered him and said, we all swear and bind ourselves by mutual execrations that we will not change our intention, but execute our projected undertaking. Then they swore all together, and all bound themselves by mutual execrations. Their whole number was 200 who descended upon Ardis. Okay, these are their names, the chiefs, Shemyaza, their leader. I'm not going to read all that. Okay, now, let's put in our chart. Let's go back to the chart real quick. Because what's going to happen is we're going to read some more details in a little bit. We're going to read some more details in a minute. Rahman says, my bad, he wasn't Yahawashai yet. It's all good. These angels are crazy. Let's put, let's put Shemyaza or Azazel. And we're reading verse 10 and 11, and then we're going to go into chapter 8. And women conceiving then they took women, each choosing for himself whom they began to approach, and whom they cohabited, teaching them sorcery, incantations, and dividing of roots and trees. And the women conceiving brought forth Nephilim, and they bore to them 3 races. First, the great. So I don't like this translation. I like what most translations put, giants here. I don't like this translation because it's too close to the next one. So they put Nephilim, just put giants when we go over this in a bit. And then the Nephilim brought forth, the giants brought forth the Nephilim, and the Nephilim brought forth the Eliud. And they existed, increasing in power according to their greatness, whose stature was 300 cubits. These devoured all the labor of men until it became impossible to feed them. When they turned themselves against men in order to devour them, and began to injure birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish, to eat one another's flesh, and to drink their blood. Then the earth reproved the unrighteous. Yeah. No bueno. Okay. Chapter 8, verse 1. Moreover, Azazel, don't forget that guy, or some people say Azazel, taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, the fabrication of mirrors, and the workmanship of bracelets and ornaments, the use of paint, the beautifying of eyebrows, stones in every valuable and select kind, and all sorts of dyes, so that the world became altered. Now, does that mean that everything that he taught him was evil? No. Not everything that he taught him was unlawful. It's good to have mirrors and knives and shields, and but the point is that his teaching of these things caused the world to be altered, the change of beauty. Verse 2, impiety increased, fornication multiplied, and they transgressed and corrupted all their ways. Amazarach taught all the sorcerers and dividers of roots. We won't go farther into that. Pretty much these angels are crazy, as Sister Natasha pointed out. Teaching us how to be crazy. Shemyaza be teaching sorcery. Enoch chapter 9, verse 6. Okay. Now, there's some big players that come into play here. 5 archangels. It says, Enoch chapter 9, verse 1, Michael and Gabriel, Raphael, Suriel, and Uriel looked down from heaven and saw the quantity of blood which was shed on earth, and all the iniquity which was done upon it, and said one to another the voice of their cries. The earth deprived has cried even to the gate of heaven. And now you, O you Holy One of heaven, the souls of men complain, saying, bring judgment to us from El Elyon, which is most high. And that's where Natasha's talking about, them crying out to the heavens, potentially. But see, that happened. Men began to cry out before this happened. So I see them as 2 different events. But that's, good thinking, good trying to make sense of that. Then they said to their Adonai, the king, Adonai ha-Adonai, which means Lord of Lords. Elohai ha-Elohim, which means God of gods. Malek ha-Malechim, which means King of kings. The throne of your glory is forever and ever is your name sanctified and glorified. You are blessed and glorified. You have made all things, you possess power over all things, and all things are open and manifest before you. You behold all things, and nothing can be concealed from you. You have seen what Azazel has done, how he has caught every species of iniquity upon earth, and has disclosed to the world all the secret things which are done in the heavens. Shemyaza also taught sorcery, to whom you have given authority over those who are associated with him. They have gone together to the daughters of men, have lain with them, have become polluted, and have revealed their sins to them. Likewise, the women have brought forth Nephilim, or giants. Thus has the whole earth been filled with blood and iniquity. And now behold, the souls of those who are dead cry out. Okay, we're going to pause right here for a moment. Let's go back to our chart, because we got to fill out some stuff. So, large black cows and their young ones. That could be Canaanites. That could be Adamites. Because we do see that there are many cows and black heifers that come from... where'd I have it? Many black cows and black heifers. And then the other ones. So I'm going to put Adamites. Yes, I love that too. All praises. Shalom, shalom. Natasha says, I love this part. How they pray and speak to the Most High with much reverence. Likewise, I always love that when I'm reading that in scripture, and someone just approaches the Most High. And it's really cool to see how the archangels pray. That's really awesome. Shalom, shalom. Okay. Now, so we have a guess, right? Oops, I'm sorry. We have a guess. We have Shemyaza or Azazel. And then let's go back to our Enoch chapter. Okay. You have a precept for that? What you got? What you got? Okay. Now, let's read it again. Behold, a single star fell from heaven. We got either We got either Shemyaz or Azazel, and then other large black cows and their young ones that could be other humans. But he comes amongst them. It can also be Sethites as well. Adamites, Cainites, Sethites, people. After that, I perceived other large and black cows. And behold, all of them changed their stalls and pastures. So those guys migrated. So then that can also be Cainites. Because it's different. I think I did add. Let me go back to my document really quick. Because this is a little different than the one I pulled up a different one here. Okay, cool. No, we're still good. Okay. So whatever you want to put there, it's just know that they're humans. They're people. Revelation 4:10-11. Let me look that up really quick. That's what Miss Winnie's saying. Not a direct one, but it sounds similar. Revelation 4:10-11. The 24 elders fall down before him, sat on the throne, and worship it that liveth forever, and cast their crowns before the throne, saying, Thou art worthy, O Yahweh, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. Amen. So that's the precept, or I won't say a precept, but just similarity. Definitely a similarity of the type of prayers that you see from those heavenly beings. I'll say it like that. Okay, so then who are the many stars from heaven? After what we just read in the earlier chapters of Enoch. Those are going to be the rest of the watchers, right? Now check this out. Who are the horses, the elephants, and the camels that the women began to give birth to? That the young cows gave birth to? And I'm sorry, who are the horses? The horses are the watchers that take a different form so that they can procreate. Now, the elephants, check this out, because we just read in the earlier chapter in Enoch that the women brought forth 3 races of giants. Then the giants, when they made it with the women, they brought forth the Nephilim. And then the Nephilim brought forth the Eliud. Those are your 3 different types. We'll get to Noah soon. We're working our way down for sure. Okay, now this is where my chart starts to get a little weird, and I had to start adding. For those of you who came into it, I put an asterisk next to the ones I added. Rephaim are also, but this is just what Enoch says. I'm putting it just like this. We'll go back to it. I'm not going to pull it up. I'm just going to quote it. Enoch chapter, I believe it was 7. Yes, Enoch 7:11. And the woman conceiving brought forth giants, and they bore to them 3 races first. The great giants, the Nephilim. I'm sorry, the giants brought forth the Nephilim, and the Nephilim brought forth the Eliud. The Eliud are just the 3rd generation of giants. And that's where you get all your legends. So notice this. Look, in Greek mythology, you have, what do you have? You have the titans, the gods, and the demigods, right? As each section gets polluted with more humanity. Okay. For sure. All praises. All right. Let's finish this part, and then we'll get back to our chart. Just that nitty gritty stuff. Once we get through this, it's all good. all Verse 6, I looked at and observed them. When beheld, they all acted after the manner of horses. So that's the angels acting like humans and doing human things. It began to approach the young cows, all of whom became pregnant and brought forth elephants, camels, and asses. At these, all the cows were alarmed and terrified. We just read that again in Enoch chapter 7. They're like, doing too much, right? They began biting with their teeth, swallowing and striking with their horns. They began also to devour the cows. And behold, all the children of the earth trembled, shook with terror at them, and suddenly fled away. Next chapter. Again I perceived them when they began to strike and to swallow each other. And the earth cried out. Then I raised my eyes a second time towards heaven. And I saw in a vision that, behold, there came forth from heaven as it were the likeness of white men. One came forth from thence, and 3 with him. Okay. So there's a total of 4. Those 3 who came forth last seized me by my hand, and raising me up from the generations of the earth, elevated me to a high station. Now, I'm going to just give you guys this answer because you have to read the book of Enoch in its entirety to understand what's going on. Because he begins to start to be brought through by these 3 angels. They are Uriel, Gabriel, Michael. And I want to say, I kind of want to switch one of these, but we're not going to worry about it too much. No, my bad. Raphael, Gabriel, Michael. Uriel is the one who comes first. That's why I named him. Now, I'm going to add a little thingy here because I messed up. And as I was reading this again, I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to add a little row here. Add a row below. And I'm going to type in one of the 4. Okay, already got that. One of the 4 who came forth first. Cool. And then one of those 4 that drew the sword. This is going to be really important in a moment. Good. We're going to add another one. Ugh. One of those that drew the sword. One of those 4 hurled from heaven. Oops. And then I'm going to make this one, I'm going to just rename it. One of those 4 that went and taught a mystery. It's going to get crazy. Awesome. Cool. All right, let's read. Okay. And then I can actually move this. Cool. Now, it says, again I perceived when they began to strike and swallow each other, and the earth cried out. Then I raised my eyes in a second time towards heaven, and saw in a vision, that behold, there came forth from heaven as it were the likeness of white men. One came forth from thence, and 3 with him. Those 3 who came forth last seized me by my hand, and raising me up from the generations of the earth, elevated me to a high station. Then they showed me a lofty tower on the earth, while every hill became diminished. And they said, remain here until you perceive what shall come upon those elephants, camels, and asses, upon the stars, and upon all the cows. That sounds like what? That sounds like judgment's coming, right? Man. Okay. Then I looked at that one of the four who came forth first. He seized the first star which fell down from heaven, and binding it hand and foot, he cast it into a valley narrow, deep, stupendous, and gloomy. Ooh, we're going to have to do some reading now. I'm going to finish this and we're about to go back, and then we'll come back to this. Then one of them drew his sword and gave it to the elephants, camels, and asses, who began to strike each other, and the whole earth shook on account of them. And when I looked in the vision, behold, one of those four angels who came forth, hurled from heaven, collected together, and took all the great stars, whose form partly resembles that of horses, and binding them all hand and foot, cast them into the cavities of the earth. All right, you guys ready for the answer? This is all going to be found in Enoch chapter, I want to say 12. Is it 11? Hold on. What the heck? Enoch 10. Enoch chapter 10. Okay. You guys ready to read? These are the answers right here. And then this is also going to give us a final answer for if it's Azazel or Shemiyaza. You'll see. Then the Most High, El Elyon, the Great and Holy One, spoke and sent Archangelic, the son of Lamech. That is a translation error. I was like, who the heck is this? Some time ago, and that's a translation error. That's Uriel. Many scholars have figured that out. So, and sent Uriel to the son of Lamech. Who's the son of Lamech? Noah. Right? Okay, verse 3. Saying, say to him in my name, conceal yourself. Then explain to him the consummation which is about to take place. For all the earth shall perish. The waters of a deluge, that's the flood, shall come over the whole earth, and all things which are in it shall be destroyed. This is the Most High's response to the angels praying and saying, please do something, because the whole earth is going crazy. Okay? Now watch this. And all its things which are in it shall be destroyed. Verse 5. Now teach him how he may escape. Who's the him? The son of Lamech. Uriel is the one. The Most High is telling Uriel to teach the son of Lamech how to escape and how his seed may remain in all the earth. And Yahweh said to Raphael. Okay. See that? So then, that means, okay, well, Yahweh said to Raphael, bind Azazel hand and foot and cast him into darkness, and opening the desert which is in Dudael, cast him in there. Throw him upon hurled and pointed stones. So now we got to go back to our chart. We're going way back. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. I wish I had multiple windows for this Sefer. Okay. Then I looked at one of the four who came forth first. He seized the first star which fell down from heaven, and binding a hand and foot, we just read Azazel, the first star, the one who came first, one of the first white men, is supposed to bind the first star, just like we just read. So, Uriel, and then we got to go ahead and clean this up here. This is Azazel for sure, according to Enoch chapter 10 in the Sefer, Enoch chapter 9, if you're reading it in the Lost Books app. Okay. Now, who are we looking for? Then one of them drew the sword, and we're also looking for one that's hurled from heaven, right? Let's go back to Enoch chapter 10. Hopefully this is making sense, guys. Right, exactly. Nice job, Natasha. Azazel. Getting that action right now. Then Yahuwah said to Raphael, oh, my bad. Raphael is binding. Sorry. I made a mistake. Raphael is given the order to bind Azazel. Okay. Did I add that in this? This should be added. I'm sorry, guys. I'll be making a lot of mistakes. One who came forth first. I need one who is binding the first star then. Because it makes it very clear. And then Uriel is sent to speak to Noah. Sorry, guys. Awesome. Okay. One of the first four to bind the first star is Raphael. Glad I caught that. Bind Azazel, cast him to darkness, opening. Okay, he's in Doodle. Dudael. Throw him upon hurled and pointed stones, covering him with darkness. There shall he remain forever. Cover his face, that he may not see the light. Okay. Okay, and then in the great day of judgment, lake of fire, yada yada. All the earth has been corrupted by the effects of the teachings of Azazel. Verse 12. To him therefore ascribe the whole crime. So the Most High was not happy with Azazel at all. Okay, to Gabriel, also Yahweh said, go to the bastards, to the reprobates, to the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication, the offspring of the watchers, from among men. Bring them forth and excite them one against another. Let them perish by mutual slaughter, for length of days shall not be theirs. They shall all entreat you, but their fathers shall not obtain their wishes respecting them, for they shall hope for eternal life, that they may live, each of them 500 years. Yep. So now Gabriel is sent to make the offspring go after each other. Okay? Cool. Then Michael, Yahweh said, go and announce his crime to Shemyaza, and that his crime is italicized. So pretty much he's saying, go talk to Shemyaza. Go deal with Shemyaza. Right, Clash of the Titans as well. This has been talked about in so many different mythologies, in so many different ways. I have read the Book of the Giants. It seems it was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, remnants of it at least. Great question. Natasha says, is the Book of Giants a legit book? I don't know. It is written from the perspective of the Nephilim. Some say it's like one of the true stories of Gilgamesh. So all this stuff has happened. This stuff happened. One, we see here in Scripture. I certainly recognize Enoch as Scripture. I don't see any contradictions with the holy 66 plus Apocrypha. I consider Enoch to be a holy book. Book of the Giants, I've read it. It seems interesting, but I've only seen fragments of it, so I can't really say one way or another. Okay. Michael, likewise, Yahweh said, go and announce his crime to Shemyaza and to the others who are with him. Who are the others with him? The other angels that they promised and swore an oath, right? Who have been associated with women, that they might be polluted with their impurity, and with all their sons shall be slain. And when all their sons shall be slain, when they shall see the perdition of their beloved, bind them for 70 generations underneath the earth. Where? Bind them for 70 generations underneath the earth. Is that a place in time? Which is also the place in time where the souls of men go when they die? Yes. Even to the day of judgment. So until the day of judgment, this is where they'll be. Because hell is a place. It is not just the grave. and of consummation until the judgment, the effect of which will last forever, be completed. There it is right there. Let's go back because now we have the answers to our next chunks, our next blank spots. So who's the one that drew the sword? We just read it. Who was sent to excite the Nephilim against each other? So then that means if this is saying the one that came forth first, that would be Raphael. And then, do I have one that taught a mystery? Yes, that's going to be Uriel. Okay. I just want to make sure this is all good. Sorry, guys. That's Raphael. He also is going to bind the star. The one that drew the sword is Shalom, Shalom. That's Gabriel. And then who's the one that's hurled from heaven? Because what is he doing? Let's read verse 4 again. Then one of them drew his sword and gave it to the elephants, camels, and asses who began to strike each other. Remember, he's sent to make them excited against each other. And the camels, the elephants, camels, and asses are all the descendants. Those are all the descendants of the Watchers who began to strike each other. And the whole earth was shook on account of them. Like you guys are saying, the clash of the titans right there. And all of those other readings that you can get your hands on from other mythologies. Verse 5, and when I looked in the vision, behold, one of those 4 angels who came forth, hurled from heaven. Leave it to Michael to have a grand superhero entrance, right? Collected together and took all the great stars, whose form partly resembled that of horses. Why did their form partly resemble that of horses? Because they were making themselves at a lower frequency, if we want to put it like that, to be able to cohabitate and copopulate and intermingle with the women, the cows, as this parable calls them. And binding them all hand and foot, cast them into the cavities of the earth. That's Michael. Michael is cool. All right, let's continue on. We'll cut it. We'll end shortly. Oops, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't have the chart up. All right, we got. Let's talk about this really quick again. So, 3 that came forth at the last. I had it right the first time. Because Uriel, it gets crazy in the book of Enoch. These angels they took turns taking Enoch on quite the journey and quite the visions. One of the 4 who came forth first was Raphael. We also know this because he's the one that bound the first star, which was Azazel. And then one of the 4 that drew the sword and gave it to the asses and stuff, that was Gabriel. And then Michael wasn't hurled. Oh, let's read it. My bad. Michael's hurled from heaven. He came forth hurled from heaven, like he wasn't thrown down. He came flying in like Superman. Hurled from heaven can probably throw somebody off, but that's just he came flying from heaven like crazy fast to deal with what Yahweh set him to do. Not hurled in a bad way, came down crazy. And when I looked to behold the vision, when I looked in the vision, behold, one of those 4 angels who came forth, hurled from heaven, collected together, and took all the great stars. So he just came flying in super fast, that's all. Yeah. And I know there's a little bit of delay, so I was just waiting for the response to come in, my bad. Supersonic speed. He couldn't wait to get the green light from the Most High to do it. Because if you read all of Enoch, you'll see Michael's about that action. I mean, that's why he's the archangel over Israel. He loves some action. So he hurled himself from heaven to take care of business. Michael's one of my favorites. Probably my favorite. Oh yeah, Miss Winnie's talking about let's go back because I like what she's saying here. She's going back from Enoch 10, which is what we always want to do when we're double checking our work. As you can see, my work is being double checked right here. Let's go back to the Michael part. Go and announce his crime to Shemyaza and to the others who are with him, who have been associated with women, that they might be polluted with all their impurity. And when all their sons shall be slain, when they shall see the perdition of their beloved, bind them 70 generations underneath the earth, even to the day of judgment and of consummation unto the judgment, the effect of which will last forever be completed. Then shall they be taken away into the lowest depths of the fire in torments, and in confinement shall they be shut up forever. Immediately after this shall Shemyaza, together with them, burn and perish. They shall be bound until the consummation of many generations. Destroy all the souls addicted to lust and the offspring of the watchers, for they have tyrannized over mankind. Okay, I'll leave it there. Cool? Okay. Natasha says, this is fun. I'm glad you guys are having fun, because I was like, man, I hope this isn't super boring. Now we're talking about angels hurling themselves from heaven to do Yah's bidding. We love it. Enoch chapter 89 is one of the longest. Let's get into this a little bit. I'm going to get into a certain part and then we're going to wrap it up there because I don't want this to be super long. I want people to be able to watch this in chunks and then we'll continue on next week. Cool. Dang it. I want to go back because she's talking about, let me look it up in here actually. Enoch 10, 6 and 7. Oh. So the hurled angel was not Azazel. I get what you're saying, why you would think that. But no, that's a different use. Azazel was thrown upon hurled and pointed stones. Throw upon him hurled and pointed stones. So like he was bound where he was put in Dudael. But then Michael did definitely come hurling himself to take care of Shemyaza and the boys. We'll call them. Okay. Enoch chapter 89 in the Sefer. 88 if you're reading it anywhere else, most likely. Then one of those four went to the white cows and taught them a mystery. While the cow was trembling, it was born and became a man. Now we just read who got sent to the son of Lamech. Y'all remember? Uriel. Now, how do we know that this is the son of Lamech? Let's read. While the cow was trembling, it was born and became a man. Now that is an interesting thing we'll talk about in a moment. And fabricated for himself a large ship. In this he dwelt, and 3 cows dwelt with him in that ship, which covered them. Again, I lifted my eyes towards heaven, and I saw a lofty roof. Above it were 7 cataracts. Cataracts is a super ancient way of saying waterfall. It is not that cloudy stuff on your eyeballs in this context. Which poured forth on a certain village much water. The certain village just represents the flat earth, the terranium that Yahweh has put us in, that he created in 7 days. In 6 days and rested on the 7th. Verse 3, again I looked, and behold, there were fountains open on the earth in that large village. So the fountains are from below, the cataracts are from above. The water began to boil up and rose over the earth so that the village was not seen, while its whole soil was covered with water. So we're talking about the flood. Now, who was on the ship? Who built the ship? Let's go to our chart. So we know it's Uriel. Nice job, Natasha. Uriel. Because we read that. Now, the white cow, that was taught a mystery. I'm gonna put a little bit of a... Oops. Y'all have to forgive me. Feel free to make some edits on your stuff to make it more readable and understandable for you, family. The white cow, you guys know who it is Noah, right? Boom. And then the 3 cows with the man. Noah's sons. Shem, Ham, Japheth. Cool. Okay. I'm going to read the rest of this and then we'll go shut it down there. I think this is a good spot to stop because the Azazel and the stars in them were getting crazy. Great job, great job. Yep, Noah. Verse 5, Enoch 89 or 88, verse 5. Much water was over it, darkness and clouds. Over what? The village, right? The flat earth. Then I surveyed the height of this water, and it was elevated above the village. It flowed over the village and stood higher than the earth. Then all the cows which were collected there, while I looked on them, were drowned, swallowed up, and destroyed in the water. Remember, we just read in Enoch 10, he told them, yeah, we're going to get rid of everybody. Nice job, Miss Winnie. Very good. But the ship, verse 8, floated above it. All the cows, the elephants, the camels, and the asses. So we talk about humans. We're talking about hybrid, super Nephilim, gods, demigods, so-called gods. They got taken care of. And the asses were drowned on the earth, and all cattle. Nor could I perceive them, neither were they able to get out, but perished and sunk into the deep. Again I looked in the vision until those cataracts from that lofty roof were removed, and the fountains of the earth became equalized, while other depths were opened, into which the water began to descend until the dry ground appeared. The ship remained on the earth, the darkness receded, and it became light. Then the white cow, which became a man, went out of the ship, and the 3 cows with him. Awesome. Okay, I want to talk about becoming, they got flushed. I want to talk about the cow becoming a man. In this parable, when a cow becomes a man, it is the cow taking on a messianic role. The cow receiving instruction from Yahweh that will save either a portion of humanity, save a portion of humanity. I'll say it like that. Because even when Yahweh, the man, the son of man, the son of Yah, will save the remnant, redeem the remnant. So I want you guys to make note of that. When an animal in this parable becomes a man, he takes on a messianic role by following the instruction of Yah. Question here was, I saw it, is that where races come from? Races, yes, races of people. You will see that. Because I'm going to need a second to get into the which one is which here. But obviously, we have the white cow, the red cow, and the black cow, of which we know are Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And then I want to be able to pull up a precept next week. I'll show you how you can distinguish the two. Now, the wild beasts and birds, that represents the nations, as well as all of these other things. So we can just fill that in right now. The races, the nations. If you really want to dig into that, let's go to, not right now, Genesis chapter 10. That is the table of nations. Anytime we see or want to know where a people came from, you can resort to Genesis chapter 10. I'll read it. Verse 14. Then began wild beasts and birds to bring forth. The Seth, the Aves, the kites, the funcus. Verse 15. Of all these, the different kinds assembled together. Lions, tigers, wolves, dogs, wild boars, foxes, rabbits, and the hands are. The Seth, the Aves, the kites, the funcus, and ravens. Then the white cow was born in the midst of them. So we'll go over that next week. Yes, according to Enoch chapter 105, I think it is. Enoch was Noah was born white. I think it's 105. Yeah. Enoch chapter 105 or 104 if you're reading elsewhere. Cool? Man, that was something else, huh? And again, I feel terrible because that was a rough start for such a like, hey, this is going to be fun, this is going to be easy. Bible trivia. Man, all of those answers were found all outside of the 66. So, glad, guys. Yes, Noah was certainly albino. How do we know that he was albino? Because his father was alarmed at his white skin, saying he resembles one of those born of the angels, which means that his father, being really astonished at his white skin, his father had black skin. Everybody who was born of humans at that time had black skin. Noah was albino. Yeah. So, check it out, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with me. It's one of those days where brain is just not firing up per usual, but that's okay. We still got the answers. We still made the corrections where they need to be. If you guys are finding things that you feel like needed to be corrected, please let me know. And then, we look at it, we compare notes, and that's what this is all about. We're here to grow. We're here to search out wisdom, and we're here to have a good time. This is some fun stuff. Does it have anything pertaining to do with salvation? No, but what it does do is it gives you the history, the timeline, the way, the path of salvation, the deeper things which just solidify your faith, solidify your growth. So I'm really glad for you guys to be a part of it and to be enjoying it. All praise to Yah. Hallelujah. Ayandabar. Okay, let's close out, family. Father Yah, the water for this time, the water for your word, the water for this parable, which is a great opportunity, again, to test our skill and in our understanding and knowledge of the word, as well as grow and be edified in the knowledge of your word. Father, you alone are most high. We thank you so much for what you do for us, how you answer our calls. And Father, we long for salvation through Yahushua. We long for his return, and we long to meet you in the 8th day. Father, I pray that everyone who is in their Sabbath that is blessed, anyone going into their Sabbath is blessed, anyone in their prep day, Father. I pray that this weekend is just glorifying to you. May we all be edified continually through the iron sharpening iron of each other. We pray all these things in the name of Yahushua. Aman wa Aman. All right, family. I'll see you soon.